All right, it is late. It is late, but I wanted to wrap up I'm going to call it the fall game, the fall exhibition, the fall practice that was tonight. It was just fantastic. It was awesome. We got to talk about it. So we're going to talk about that on this episode of Alpine Garage Sports. So the first takeaway I want to say is that I'm not going to talk about a lot of negative things, because the folks who watched this, especially in the crowd, were a little bit upset maybe at like the offensive line play, because the defense got a lot of sacks on Shedeur. Maybe the running game didn't look as good as they thought it was going to, although I thought it looked great. You know, little things like that we're not going to talk about, because I don't think those are going forward. Like, I don't think that had anything to do with what we're going to see in the regular season. But what I will say is this: the fans truly appreciated Coach Prime and the University of Colorado getting this practice going, because it gave us a big boost. It was a lot of fun. We got to see a lot of players, and it was an amazing evening. So thank you, Coach Prime, first, and thank you, University of Colorado, for putting this on at the last minute. The second thing I want to talk about is a lot of people were worried about the crowd size. And, you know, they said, you know, I saw on some of my chat and some other chats as well, that they were worried about the fact that Coach Prime said it was sold out, but the east side of the stadium was not as full. I'm telling you guys, that west side was packed. There was a lot of people there. There were a lot of people that were standing in front you probably didn't even see. The east side had full sun on it. You know, it was a 93-degree day in Denver, which is hot to begin with. You get up high with this dryness. And I'm just saying, a lot of people showed up. This game is probably more packed. In fact, there was a couple of guys sitting next to me that said they go to football games regularly at that stadium. They never see it that full. So there you go. And we only got 4 days notice for this game. Another takeaway is it was obvious that, you know, we're not showcasing plays during this game. Very, very vanilla. And a lot of people brought that up. It was, you know, vanilla offense and defense. And it was designed like that, because when you invite 5,000 people to a practice, you know, you're not going to be showing what you're going to be using in a game. But what you want to do is you want to show off the talent that you have, and you want to get guys reps. So, and that's exactly what happened. And I thought that it looked really good from that perspective. The number one takeaway I have is our defense. If this were an actual game and going into the regular season, if we play like this on defense, we are going to absolutely run over people. When you're talking about Tajay McCoy, who had, you know, potentially 4 or 5 sacks on Shedeur. You talk about BJ Green. You talk about, Omar McNeil. Anybody you talk about on that defensive line, they were all in the backfield. Everybody was in the backfield. It was like a jailbreak every single play. And you can say it was because the offensive line didn't hold similar to last year, but I don't think that was it at all. I think it's just that's how much better our defense is. So I just wanted to shout out to our defense. This is going to be an awesome season for our defense. The offensive line is massive. It's huge. Like last year, I got a lot of really good close-ups of our offensive line as a group. In fact, I went on a tour of Children's Hospital with them. This year, this group looks amazingly different. So, you know, this practice aside, I honestly think we're going to be light years better than we were last year. Charlie ran with the ones. He was the first running back out there, and he ran with the ones the entire night. Dallin Hayden took some reps with the ones as well. We had a pretty good running day. A lot of people were saying that they thought that, you know, our run was getting stuffed a lot. There were some good runs. Charlie broke off a couple. Dallin looked really good tonight. You know who really surprised me was Brandon Hood. Brandon Hood looked really, really good tonight. Like I think I chose him as like the number 4 or 5 running back in our group, primarily just due to the freshman part of it. But he looked really good tonight. And if he plays like that in every practice, I can see how he could gain a spot as maybe one of the 2 starters. I'm just going to say that. I thought he looked really good. QBs. Now, it's been mentioned that, and even people in the crowd were talking about how QB2 and on did not look good tonight. I will say that there's a couple of them that not necessarily in the game part of the exhibition, but later on in the evening, that Dominique Ponder really impressed me. And it isn't just because he can run, because he ran a lot and he did really well at the run, but he was really accurate when he was throwing it. The other one that really kind of took me by surprise was Dustin Wade. He didn't really play a lot, but there were a few throws in there that I really thought were genius throws. I thought, wow, I hadn't really given him a lot of thought because, you know, when you get past Shedeur, you know, I didn't really think he would be one of those guys, but watching him, I could see how he probably could be. I just wanted to toss that out. Walter Taylor III is a massive human being. He looks like an NFL quarterback right now, like just standing still with a football in his hand. He looks that good. He also played pretty well tonight, but just his physical being, he just looks bigger than almost anybody else on the field. It's pretty ridiculous. Mark Vasset, another point, Mark Vasset could be the best punter in college football. At the end of the season, I honestly feel like he probably will be considered one of the best, or if not the best, punter in college football. He was kicking dimes down there right onto the 5. If we were actually pursuing the ball in this practice today, we would have actually downed it in the 5-yard line like several times. So I honestly feel like he probably is one of the best punters out there. And the last one is the wide receiver group is smoking. I couldn't keep track of how many amazing catches there were out there. And everybody did well. Like everybody did well. Specifically Miller, Wester, Horn, and Shepard just looked amazing. I mean, Horn late. In fact, it was past anything that I showed. But Horn had probably the most amazing catch of the day, I believe. And it was an over-the-shoulder back catch with one hand. And the crowd just went, you know, the crowd was pretty quiet during the practice. They exploded right after that play. So the hands that are in this group are amazing. And I don't talk a lot about our wide receivers because I feel like they're all really good. But after watching this, man, I just think it could be one of the best receiving groups in the country. So those are my top takeaways. Put down in the comments your takeaways if you were at the practice, saw any footage, those kinds of things. What did you take away from this practice? What are you worried about? And I would put an asterisk next to that because anything that you saw that you're worried about, that could just be just the way that the practice was structured and things like that. But if you had a concern, put it down there. I'd like for us to discuss it as well. And we're going to come out with more content based on this going forward for the next few days, but I wanted to at least wrap it up. That is a wrap from Alpine Garage Sports. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel. We're unlike most other channels. We look at it from a fan's perspective, and so most of the footage that you get is going to be from a fan's perspective, and I want you guys to see it the way that I see it. And I will see you in the next video.